Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Just Joey. Before we start, may I just remind you that I am not an attorney who will give you legal advice. But one thing I can assure you is that what I share is based on actual experience. In preparing your I-129F packet, a checklist is a must so you can keep track of the requirements you would need and get them done. So in this checklist, we will work on this part, evidences of intent to marry. We will also discuss why they are important and share some tips to avoid getting an RFE. Letter of intent to marry is a letter signed by both of you promising marriage within 90 days of arrival into the US, and it requires the petitioner and the beneficiary's names and signatures. Since this letter will be signed by both you and your fiancé or fiancée, it's a legal statement. The beneficiary and petitioner can have different letter of intent. That's okay. Or both the beneficiary and petitioner can submit one letter that they both signed. That's also okay. So either way is acceptable. You don't have to make your letter exactly look like this. This is just a guide. Also, you have to personalize your letter based on what evidences you would like to add or evidences that are available. I will talk about more of these evidences later on the video and what you can add on your own letter. For now, I will just show you some ideas how the letter would look like. If you decide to have separate letter, it can look like this. Since each of you will submit your own letter, be clear on the title whose letter intent is that. Beneficiary's letter of intent to marry, and this one is petitioner's letter of intent to marry. And in our case, Tim and I decided to just have one letter of intent to marry. What's important is that the two of you have put signature on that letter. We both signed in one letter of intent to marry. Another thing to take note is you should know where to address not just your letter but the whole packet as well. So know the latest USCIS address, and that would also depend on the mail type. For US Postal Service, and another one for express mail and courier deliveries. Now I'll explain why we include and had some backup aside from just a simple letter of intent. As you know, even before the pandemic has started, immigration was getting tough. USCIS is taking longer to process, and the denial rate of K-1 visa has increased in the previous years. The embassy can deny you if they feel like the relationship is not genuine. So we, the applicants, have to step up and make our application really solid. So if you can just give your best, even on the little details, you state in your letter that you intend to marry, and if you have evidences to back up that statement, then show it. Evidences of intent to marry can include wedding venue receipts or catering receipts if available. Again, I said only if available. For example, your petitioner already paid in advance the catering service or venue of your planned wedding in US, then you can present those receipts as well as a proof that you both are intending to marry. But in most cases, I believe most couples would not pay or book in advance for a wedding in US while they are still on the process of their visa application, right? Because as to when the visa gets approved and released is unpredictable. So what we did in our evidences of intent to marry, we included pictures of Tim's proposal to me in front of my family. and then pictures of our engagement dinner with my family. We also include some witness statements from family and very close friends on both sides that they are aware of our plans of getting married. The idea of having your family and friends on both sides writing a letter is great. However, you should consider this as a letter of witness and not a letter of intent to marry. The letter of witness is like someone showing support to the relationship and they bear witness of your marriage plans. And the last one, we included some discussion and communication that we had where we talked about marriage, the wedding, and some future plans. Another frequently asked questions about the letter of intent to marry is that, does it require original signatures? The official I-129F instructions simply say that the packet must include a signed letter from you two of your intent to marry. It doesn't clearly say whether or not it must be an original wet signature. According to some online sources like visatutor.com, USCIS accepts letter of intent to marry with signatures which are photocopied, scanned, faxed, or emailed. They also advise to try to get the original letter if what you have submitted on your packet is only a scanned letter of intent. The USCIS only requests an original letter if they feel it's necessary. Otherwise, most won't see an RFE about it. Just to be safe, have the original mailed to you so you can respond quickly if you happen to get an RFE. But if they don't ask for the letter, let's say everything went well during the USCIS and NVC phase, then make sure that the beneficiary gets back the original letter again so beneficiary can bring it on the interview. We also plan to make an updated letter of intent for the interview phase. Basically, just almost the same as what we have submitted before. It can just have the same letter content, but if Tim and I have something we can add like more evidences, then we will include it. The updated letter of intent to marry would have a recent date closer to the interview. The consul may or may not ask for it, but it's better to be prepared so whatever they ask, we have it on hand. Since, immigration now is getting more difficult, so we want to avoid any suspicions, red flags, or marriage fraud. They can cause more delays or worse, getting denied if there is no proof of genuine relationship. So we are doing whatever we can do to mitigate those risks. We haven't reached the interview stage yet. I'm still at NVC since most embassies nowadays are still closed due to the pandemic, so we're still waiting when the embassies will reopen. But so far, the packet that we sent got approved. We had our NOAA 2 without getting any RFE, so I can say our letter of intent and the evidences so far that we have presented were all good. Since the topic that we had is all about intent to marry, it's just right we end this video with a message about marriage.
So what?
So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard. And we're going to have to work at this every day, but I want to do that because I want you. I want all of you, forever, you and me, every day.
You heard it right, guys. It's not gonna be easy, whether it's applying for a visa or entering a marriage. It's not easy, but if you want something so badly, then you gotta work for it. So practice teamwork with your fiancé during the whole process of your K1 visa application. We can practice our patience as well because there will be a long time of waiting. After all, that's what marriage is all about. It's teamwork and partnership. Thank you for watching and hope you subscribe.